Okay, hello and welcome back to English with Dry. This is Mr. Azad and we're approaching question 2. Now, my timer's going. In the last video, you would have seen me do Actually, let's pause that. In the last video, you would have seen me do reading skills and answering question 1 and how to go about that in the exam. We're doing question 2 today. This will just be one video on question 2. And we're still going with that exam time that we had. So we've got 48 minutes. We've banked 3 minutes from question 1, so we can carry that over, hopefully. Already, whilst I was reading, I've already picked out some techniques I can talk about. Personification and a simile as well. Remember, question 2 is asking us, how does the writer use language to describe Charles Maxim? So we're going to use something I call TQE, and I'll tell you how to do that. So let's begin here. So TQE is technique, quote, and explanation. Now, this is how we'll start writing then. I'll move the timer over here. Okay, so question 2, I'm just going to do this in the exam. So the technique I want to talk about first is the personification of the moonlight might talk, or the nighttime of a speaking voice. So I start by writing, the writer personifies the nighttime with a speaking voice and the moonlight if it could talk to describe Charles Maxim as and I want to suggest that he is quite a mundane character to begin with, as a very peculiar and perhaps mundane individual. So we've got our technique, our T, we've got our quote, and now we'll explain. I'm going to start with the nighttime. Okay, so the connotation of nighttime, so I'm going to change that to is an element of eeriness, because we associate nighttime with sort of being eerie. That is an element of eeriness and mystery, which could imply to the reader that Charles is a very odd character. However, this could also imply that Charles is a very calm person, as the reference to moonlight evokes a serene and tranquil atmosphere. The writer has intentionally made Charles seem elusive, as we, as the readers, will Charles seem elusive as we as the readers will begin to ponder if he is a good man or not. I'm going to pause it there. So we're 43 minutes in. We get 10 minutes for this question. Remember, we had those 3 minutes additionally from before. So we do have a little bit more time. This is one of my paragraphs. I'm only stopping the timer just to show you. So we've got the technique in there. We've got the quotes in there we're going to talk about. And then we've done a little bit of analysis. So I'll just read it out. The writer personifies a nighttime with a speaking voice and the moonlight if it could talk to describe Charles Maxim as a very peculiar and perhaps mundane individual. The connotations of nighttime provides an element of eeriness and mystery which it could imply to the reader that Charles is a very odd character. However, this could also imply that Charles is a very calm person, as a reference to moonlight evokes a serene and tranquil atmosphere. The writer has intentionally made Charles seem elusive, as we as the readers will begin to ponder if he's a good man or not. I'm going to go into my second TQE paragraph now and see what we can come up with. I'm going to refer to this simile as he would a leaky flower pot and to see what we can say about that. Let's begin the timer again. Okay, so the writer also makes use of the simile as he would a leaky flower pot to convey Charles as a careful yet confused character. The image of Charles holding this baby at arm's length suggests he is quite unfamiliar with the scenario. He is depicted as a man who is unsure with what to do. Who is unsure with what to do. Unsure about what to do with the baby. The writer portrays Charles in this way to show that although he is not an expert, he is and will try his best for this baby. The reference to the large hands could imply that the baby is in safe hands. The reader would find an element of humor in this situation, and perhaps trust that Charles will develop a knack for looking after the baby. Okay, we're going to pause it there just to evaluate what I've done so far. So it's 38:18. So according to my timer, 38:18, we have had an hour for the whole paper. So we've done 10 minutes of reading, took us to 50 minutes, and then we spent 2 minutes doing question 1, which took us to about 48 something. We spent now 10 minutes exactly since then on question 2. So we've still got that 3 minutes that's banked in that hopefully could come in handy for question 4 or for section B, question 5. So in this answer, what I've done is I've got a technique in there. I've put the quotes in as well, and I've discussed the connotations of keywords to prove my point about Charles' maxim. Notice I make references to Charles at all times, and I've done that for this part as well. Picked up on a technique, used a quote, and I've suggested something about Charles and the way he's depicted. Now in your answer, you always want to make reference to the reader at some point. What's the effect on the reader? What will the reader begin to imagine? And then also the writer's intentions. What is the writer trying to convey to us, and why? And in this response, I've tried to suggest that the writer makes Charles seem like a very, very confused character, quite a mysterious character that we're unaware of or unsure about, and we don't know if he can sort of manage the baby. I could have said a few more things. I could have said something about his description, the hooked eyebrows, the long arms, not typically sort of kind features, if you like, the narrow aristocratic face. Could have spoken about those things. He doesn't seem on the face of it like a typical sort of a parental role. It almost sounds quite menacing, the connotations of hooked, the long arms, the narrow face. All of those words make him seem quite menacing, and I could have mentioned those too. So you can imagine with perhaps better decision making, or with a bit more time, if I spent a bit more time, I could have picked out those things too. But in the exam, as you can see, it's doable. You can pick out a technique, talk about it at some considerable length, and then move on. Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful. What we'll do is, in the next video, we'll answer question 3, and then in the one after that, we'll answer question 4. I'll keep this timer here to say that we've stopped, and we'll see how we get on. Thank you.